Peter Eliades, we do this as Stock Market Cycles YouTube update for Sunday, April 6th. I have not done a YouTube update for quite some time. I know there were several of you out there that really appreciated the YouTube updates, but there were just too many out there that were trollers and, oh gosh, Eliades giving another sell signal. I guess it's time to buy. Stuff like that. I mean, you should be averse to that kind of criticism, but it bothered me like it would bother anyone else because I've been around for a long time, folks, and I've made some pretty spectacular market calls, giving you a little market history, and I go way back. On Los Angeles television in 1974 through most of that year, beginning around mid-year, I told people to expect an important bottom in the market the week of December 9th to 13th of 1974, trying to pinpoint the bottom with cycles. There was a 212-week cycle that was operative at the time, and sure enough, exactly on the week of December 9th to 13th, 1974, the market hit a bottom, the most important bottom, probably the second most important bottom of the last century, 1900 to 2000. To the week, virtually perfect call by the cycles. Again in 1982, in something that was actually validated in the letter that I sent to Barron's at the time, because they wrote an article right after the very important 1982 bottom saying that no technical analyst in the world found this bottom. Well, I sent them a letter, which they published the following week, saying, "Excuse me, but," and I quoted from my newsletter that was written right around that bottom in 1982, saying that we had reached a bottom in the stock market, perhaps an important one. Anyway, those are all in the past. I'm interested in the here and now. And boy, did we make a market call that may go down in history as one of the most spectacular and important market calls in history by a technician cycle analyst, okay? I'm not going to go through all the intricacies of how I did it here. By the way, I will go through the intricacies of how I did it when I'm a featured speaker at the Foundation for the Study of Cycles, what they call Live in 25 conference. It's going to be in New York City, June 12th to 14th at the SUNY Global Center, New York City. They've entitled the conference The New Case for Cycles. And the first 25 to register, I think you still have a chance to do that, will be invited to join the chairman, the board members, and the keynote speakers at an exclusive VIP dinner. So how do you get there? First of all, you want to be able to go to New York City, but believe me, it will be worth it for you if you're at all technically oriented or interested particularly in cycles. You go to the website cycles.org, and they'll tell you about the conference, Live in 25. I will be going into great detail as to how I pinpointed the market calls that I made. Okay, let's start bragging a little bit. And again, it's not really a brag because I'm going to verify for you exactly what was said right in here as the market was reaching a top. The final top on the S&P was reached on this day right here. That's February 19th. That was a Wednesday. The update that I did on February 14th, which was the Friday preceding that high, there was a Monday holiday on the 17th, no market, and this is the 18th, and I did an update also on that day. I'm going to play you snippets from these 2 days right at the top and see if you don't consider it, at least so far. Now look, this has been a huge decline so far, but there's nothing to say. Look, you just turn around. In fact, a lot of you out there are going to say it. Come on, Eliades, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we're going to new highs again or whatever, okay? Nobody knows for sure what the market's going to do. But I think in light of what you've seen happen up to now through last Friday, you can label this a pretty damn good call. And maybe in the fullness of time, 6 months, a year out, or much longer, we might look back at this and call it one of the most spectacular market calls in history. I don't want to be too braggadocious, but believe me, I worked my tushy off doing cycle work, and I worked a long time and hard to come up with this area that I thought we might be reaching an important market top, a generational market top. Okay, enough talking. I'm going to do a little more talking, but this time what I'm going to do is play you snippets from an update that I did on February 14th, that's this day right here, and February 18th, that's this day right here. And here's the all-time high. First, we'll play a snippet from the update of February 14th. Peter Eliades with you. This is Stock Market Cycles Update for the week ending Friday, February 14th, being recorded on Saturday, February 15th. This is one of those sit back in an easy chair and start listening and watching. If you're really interested in markets and market history, I should say, that's what we'll be talking about here. We could be at one of the most important market turning points that you will see in your lifetime. I'm not trying to exaggerate here. And for those of you that are only 20 years old out there, and I doubt there are very many of you, maybe that won't be true if you have another 60, 70 years to go. But for those of you at the age of 50 and above, which I think probably most of you are, this could well be one of the most important, the area of one of the most important market turns, junctures in your lifetime. Again, I'm being dramatic because some of the things we're looking at are dramatic, okay? Let's begin, before I forget it, by showing you the recommendation we made. And let me emphasize, this is not a recommendation service. We're not going to be doing this very often. The reason we're doing it this time, and we've done it once or twice over the past few months, is because of what I just told you, thinking that we are in one of those rare, extreme moments of history where the stock market could be at such an historic juncture. So what we did, the recommendation was, I don't know if you can see it all the way on the left of the screen, I have a horizontal line going across. Going into Friday, February 14th, our recommendation was alternate one, either short at a level if that isn't reached, below a level. That level was reached very quickly at the opening, right in this area on Friday. And so we went negative, the S&P 500 cash index, at 6117.50. Okay, snippet, February 14th update. You saw it as I recorded it in real time and made, as I stated on that update, one of the very few recommendations I ever make. We're not a recommendation service. Stock Market Cycles is a market timing service. So I would guesstimate in the 5 or 6 years I've been doing video updates, I may have made 5, 6, 7 recommendations, okay? One a year on average. We made actually over the prior year coming into that top in February, 3 or 4, because we felt very strongly we were in the area of a very major top. But that recommendation that we made on that update that was filled on that day at 6117.50 on the S&P cash could well go down in history as one of the great recommendations ever made. You know, I hate to do this. I mean, everyone loves to see the success of their work. But when you see something as spectacular as what has happened over the past few weeks, and you look back and say, and a lot of you out there, how the hell did he do that? We're going to show you how he did it. But you go to that cycles conference in New York City, we'll show you exactly how we did it. Anyway, that's one of the snippets we're going to show you. Here is the next one. And this one was recorded on February 18th, a Tuesday, the Tuesday just before the all-time high. Let me show you the chart. The one we're going to look at now is recorded right here. See this right here? The next day was the high. Okay. I am going to now play you a snippet from the February 18th update. I'll show you the introduction of the update and then play you a snippet that was recorded near the end of the update. Peter Liades, this is Stock Market Cycles update for Tuesday, February 18th. That's it, folks. Again, I emphasize how potentially very important this price zone and this time zone are. Okay? I wish I could say I stake my reputation on the fact that we are at a market top of great significance. You can't do that in this business. If you do, you're pretty foolish. But I feel pretty damn confident that that's true. And with that, I'll leave you. Our next update will be tomorrow. Thanks for watching. That was it, folks. Update February 14th. Update February 18th. Calling very strongly and very specifically for a market top of great importance. You had to say potentially great importance. I don't know if I stuck that in there, but you never know for sure. The point is, the work that I do is pretty spectacular. The software that I have that I've created along with Stefan Sherman, a young German, through the recommendation of my friend Larry Williams, created finally the software I've been trying to create for decades. And they all helped. They all helped with pinpointing this area for a potential market top. Let's talk a second about this recommendation. I don't know which part of the snippet it was on, but I think we make it clear. We're not a recommendation service, okay? We don't recommend positions. But because of where we were on the long-term overall picture, we went out on the limb, I guess, maybe, I don't know, and recommended a negative position on the S&P cash at this level. Look in the box there, 61.1750. We're still in that position. Okay, so that's it. What may turn out to be one of the most spectacular market calls in history. What does that depend on? Well, it depends on what the market does from here on in. But you can see what it's done so far through Friday. And if we show you what the futures have done so far today, this was the end of Friday. This is the futures this evening, okay, going into tomorrow. It's even more of a spectacular call. Notice, by the way, and one of the things that hinted this might be an important top, the futures did not register a new high here. That's something technicians should always look for. Cash makes a new high, futures do not. So that was a little negative sign here too. One more point. This is the kind of help and information you as a stock trader, mutual fund manager, hedge fund manager can get with our daily video updates. We've made it even easier for those of you that want to try it. All along since the inception of the video updates, we've offered a 14-day free trial, no obligations whatsoever, to listen to the daily update, okay? And see if you think it's good or it would be helpful for you. I decided very recently, with the help of my wife, Marie, that we're going to cut that free trial down to 7 days. If you can't find what you like or whether you like it or not in 7 days, you're not going to know at all anyway. But for the time being, for another week or two at the most, we're going to leave that 14-day free trial up there for you to take advantage of if you're interested. So you get a completely free, no obligations trial to our daily video updates. The kind of information that made this spectacular market call up here. And one of the few recommendations in the history of the update recommended going negative the S&P cash at the level of this horizontal green bar. Pardon me if I call that spectacular. So you will have a week, 2 at the most, of getting 14-day free trial. All you have to do is go to stockmarketcycles.com, go to register, and you will be able to register for 2 free weeks of Stock Market Cycles videos daily with no obligation whatsoever. We think you're going to like them. We think you would have liked them a lot if you had been watching them up here. Okay. I apologize for not having done a YouTube update for a long time, but I think I kind of explained why we hadn't done that. But you can now take advantage of Stock Market Cycles daily video updates. Free trial to begin with. You got to pay for it after that, folks. Do you think this was worth paying for up here? I think you'll agree that it was. That's it for now. We always enjoyed doing YouTube updates. We hope to do another one for you pretty soon. Thanks for watching.